Hey everyone, AM1 on CAM1 here. I'm back with a little bit different kind of an episode tonight. It says right in the channel description that I am not qualified to talk about many of the subjects that are common for a disc golf channel. I'm never going to tell you which discs you should be throwing. I'm never going to teach you how to prepare for a tournament or how to improve your game by throwing for more distance. I'm certainly never going to tell you a damn thing about putting. However, there is one subject I think I might be qualified to talk about. Bags. Specifically, I'd like to talk to you about this bag. This is Upper Park's compact bag. It's called the Shift. And there seems to be an awful lot of people who are curious about it, but they're perhaps not quite ready to pull the trigger on it. I don't get recognized for this channel very often, but when I do, this is one of the things that I often get asked about. Hey, what do you think of that bag? Okay, quick moment of unvarnished truth. The most common thing that people tell me when they recognize me is, Daisy is the best course ever and you suck. The second most common thing that I get is, hey, how do you like that bag? The short answer is, I love it. I wouldn't be doing this video otherwise. Now, there are plenty of other videos that are out there already that'll do things like explain the pockets and how many cup holders there are and all the other features of the bag. I'd like to gloss over most of that. Instead, what I'm interested in telling you about is what it's like to actually live with this bag, because I think it actually is a great bag for any of you AM players that are out there, or even people who are just starting off brand new to the sport. Currently, the Shift is on sale for $149.99, and $150 is a little high for a compact backpack-style bag. Other bags in this category include the CS2 series by Grip, which also sells for around $150, and the Core Pro by Latitude 64, which sells for about $100. You can buy a cheaper bag. In fact, some of them start as low as $40. But those are starter bags. They're not built with the same quality construction. They don't have the same features. They're built to meet a price point. The Shift is built with the same durability and quality construction as the bags that cost $200 to $300. It's just smaller. That's the only difference really, is the size. This can last for years. In fact, the Shift that I bought with my very first backpack style bag is still around. I still use it every now and then. Well, I was until I got this one. The only problem I've had with it was that the zippers got corroded and froze up. I left it in a leaky corner of my garage. That's why the zipper's corroded. I've lived with the Shift for a very long time, or at least I've had one or another of the Upper Park bags on my back for, I don't know, the last 6 or 7 years, honestly. I started with the original Shift, which I don't know if I still have that in a closet somewhere or not. I may. And then I got the Rebel, okay? And I wore that for many years, pretty much as long as I've been doing this channel. And then I bought this one recently, just about 4 or 5 months ago, and got it delivered to me back in July, early July. Now, get this. I recently ordered a second copy of the Shift in case the first one gets wet and I need to give it time to dry out or get clean or something like that, and I want to go out and play still. So that's how much I love this bag. I own 2 of them. If you're going to have this as your full-time bag, you're going to have to make some compromises. The Shift excels when it comes to access and organization, but that said, there's a bit of a learning curve and limitations on capacity. There are 2 kinds of disc storage in this bag. First, there's the vertical rack, and then there's the exterior netting. And which discs go into which pockets, that's a personal decision, but I found the exterior netting is easiest to use with the drivers. The sharp profile on a driver allows you to insert the discs into the narrow opening, then slide them home. Blunt nose discs, like putters and mids, fit best in the vertical rack. Those pockets have loose openings, leaving more room to get the edge of the disc inside. Now, I freely admit I'm a bit anal about this. I stash my understable drivers on one side of the bag, my overstable drivers on the other side, and my neutral drivers go in here in the middle. When I used my Rebel, something like this, most of my drivers were in this big wide open compartment at the bottom, and every now and then I might have a problem where I'd pull out my Saint Pro when I thought I was pulling out my T-Bird. The results were not spectacular. Having my discs in separate compartments like this, unlike that one big row in the Rebel, helps prevent me from making mistakes like that. Now, the main and most obvious feature of the Upper Park bags is this vertical rack here, where you can fit as many as 6 discs in for easy access. But the second most important feature of these bags is their lightweight. Okay, these bags weigh about half of what other bags weigh. I think on the scale this thing came in at 2 pounds and 2 ounces. Might have been 2 pounds and 4 ounces, I'm not quite sure, I don't remember. Whereas other bags that I've looked at weigh as much as 4 pounds plus, okay, for just the bag. Now, if you're like me, you'll probably do things like remove the sternum strap or the belt straps that are on the bottom here, get rid of those things, so you can probably get the weight down to around 2 pounds even. I have a buddy who swears that he uses his sternum strap, but I've also picked up his bag on the course and found that it weighs at least 20 pounds, so no wonder he needs the extra support. One of the reasons this bag is so light is because it uses your discs to form the frame of the pack. This is where many other compact bags go wrong. They either use plastic panels to create a rigid frame, which of course adds weight, or they use very few panels to keep the bag light, and they have very little structure. The Shift has only a back panel, and there's no side panels. There's not even a bottom panel. The triangular shape created by the netting and your discs give it all the shape that it needs. I filled my bag with everything I normally take on the course. Well, minus my water bottle and my car keys because I forgot them. But I dumped it on the scale and I found that it weighs in at 8 pounds and 5 ounces. Let's see what I have stashed in here. Moving from the left to right, I've got the remote shutter for my phone, which I use when I'm on the course filming these videos. Below that, a couple of bag tags, my Bushnell rangefinder. I've got a deck of cards, a Ripped Revenge card game, which I also use when I'm doing dubs and assigning partners. And then trash bags, which are for pet waste when I bring my dog Tucker out. Above that, I've got a bottle of sunscreen, I've got my spare towel, I've got water bottle, discs, and finally, my marker and a pencil. Let's talk a little more about those compromises that I mentioned earlier. If you start with a super lightweight bag like the Shift, and then you stuff it with everything including the kitchen sink, you have effectively negated any benefit of having purchased a lightweight bag in the first place. So there are a couple of rules that you have to learn to live with working with the Shift. Because it's designed to be lightweight, the Shift doesn't come with thick, heavily padded straps. If you overload the bag, those straps will eventually develop pressure points. You probably don't need everything you carry. That disc retriever, extra putters for warm-up, bug spray, first aid supplies, a card-sized clipboard, extra socks, glow tape, whatever. I recommend getting a gym bag to store all those extras. Leave the gym bag in your car. Will trekking back to your car when you throw your driver into the pond at Maple Hill be a nuisance? Yeah, absolutely. But unless Maple Hill is your home course, it shouldn't happen all that often. The Shift fits 14 discs easily and will fit up to 18 if you get creative with the pockets or if you use the main compartment. Sometimes you have to make hard choices and cut a few discs from the team. Here's why I bought another Shift instead of buying another copy of the Rebel. While the Rebel definitely has more space for discs and it has more maximum volume for storage, it has a very simple storage problem. The Rebel features 2 medium-sized side pockets. These are great for things like your phone, your wallet, and all those extras. However, neither of those side pockets is large enough for a sweatshirt. That matters. I often play in the morning while temperatures are still low, and then it gets much warmer as the sun rises in the sky. By midway through the round, I need to ditch the sweatshirt before it becomes, well, a sweaty shirt. My Rebel is a first-generation bag, and in subsequent generations, Upper Park has gone and increased the capacity of those side compartments, but they're still not quite big enough for something like a hoodie. The Shift, on the other hand, has a single large compartment right here in the middle, and while the opening to it is very small, you take out a couple discs, give yourself a little room, There we go. Everything fits in there just fine. Sometimes it's not about having the most space, it's about having the right shaped space. While the Shift doesn't have the greatest amount of capacity possible, it does a remarkable job of balancing a disc golfer's priorities. The top of the bag has a small slot for a scoring pencil, a marker, and a scorecard. There's also a sturdy handle for grabbing the bag and moving it around. The handle is well padded and stiff enough to stand upright. If you don't set it down properly, the bag can fall over. In fact, you'll probably topple it a few times before setting it down perpendicular to the slope becomes secondhand. The tiny zipper pockets on the belt line may look silly, but they're actually one of the bag's better features. This is where I keep my rangefinder, car keys, and bag tags. There's netting inside, which allows me to pull out my bag tag without accidentally losing my car keys in the grass. Pulling discs from the vertical rack is easy. Replacing them is simple, so long as you pay attention to what you're doing. The very top position in the rack is the only one that can be tricky. Sometimes the outer shell of the bag can get in the way of this pocket. You'll develop a technique to avoid this after it happens a few times. Now, I don't care if you go out and buy an Upper Park bag. I don't own stock in the company, they don't sponsor me, but I get so many questions about this particular bag that I thought it would be fun to answer some of them and show you what it's like to live with a bag like this. Now, if you weren't curious about an Upper Park bag, then that's fine. Hopefully maybe I've given you an appreciation for the current bag that you're wearing, or if nothing else, I've given you some ideas that you can use when you go out shopping for your next bag. That's all we've got for today. Stay frothy, my friends.